Yeah, Live 25, what you saying, people? Back again with another video. Thank you for tuning in. Now, this video caught my attention. It's basically a interview that Bounty Killer has done recently, and he's talking about his life and growing up, and touching on a whole range of subjects. Getting shot at 16 and kind of how that affected him, and he didn't really want to be. He weren't really about that life. He kind of changed the direction of his life after that event happened, and who can blame him really? But one of the things that caught my attention was that he was talking about mental health and the effects of mental health on kind of society in Jamaica right now, and his take on how it's impacting things, especially around kind of violence and that kind of situation. And this has been something that we've been talking about on the channel for a little while now, and so this one definitely caught my attention. So I'm gonna play you the video. We'll see what Bounty Killer has to say about the topic, and then I want to show you some statistics that I found in relation to this that are just completely eye-opening, jaw-dropping, shocking. I'm not sure what to make of them, people, so you're gonna have to help me out with this one. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So this is Bounty Killer.
You like a little boy, follow my parents.
How much of a role do you think mental illness play and the violence that takes place in inner city communities?
I think it plays a lot, and then people never think that people have mental problem. And then the gruesome crimes that happening in Jamaica, we have to think mental problem involved. The man we're killing 4 niece and the mother. That the man could have seen? That couldn't be a sane man. Yeah, so I strongly believe mental problem involved in a lot of these killings. And the killings and the behavior of the people, yeah. And then Jamaican don't think it's a serious thing, If you say, well, I have a mental problem, then look why you're laughing because they can't see the problem. I think Jamaicans suffer a lot of mental issue. Yeah, even the look about them like the street man, what kind of youth would do that? Just see the man asleep and go light him for what? He must have mental problem. So my Jamaican people, they're not concerned about each other like that. And then disabled and old people and mental ill people, we don't give them no care. We Jamaican don't think so, oh, the strong have to look out for the weak. No. Each man to them own. So we'll upon it, only the strong survive. Them the things of the weak to survive too. And then the strong have to help the weak to survive.
Facts.
That's why God make you strong. I am because you are. Working on how we look at it like that.
You know what? Big up Bounty Killer, because everything I just heard from what he was saying, pure facts. He's spitting facts. I can't disagree with any part of what he just said. The only thing I would add to that is, let me not just make it seem like it's just Jamaica or anywhere in particular in the world. It feels like, because me being from London, right, there's in recent years, there's been this big thing in the media where it's talking about knife crime and an increase in violence in the UK and an increase in violence in London in particular with stabbings and knife crime and that kind of thing. And listen, I'm not saying that there's not a problem with that. But what I will say is that, and I don't even want to say the problem's exaggerated. The problem's not exaggerated. The problem is just brought into focus because of social media and for the fact that everyone has phones on them, right? And news travels fast because of social media. It's like everyone is interested in the roads now. Everyone's interested in what's going on in the hood, and we seem to be drawn as a people to violence and drama and all this kind of thing. So it's like, back in the day, before social media was so big and so prevalent, knife crime, gun crime, violence, like general road stuff always happened. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's just that there wasn't a camera phone in everyone's hand to document it. There wasn't social media to circulate the information. So it was just, if you were outside, if you were on the road them times, like, you would know that this type of stuff was going on. It's not a new phenomenon. But going back to what Bounty Killer said, like, mental health is real. Let's not sweep that. Let's not look past that part. Like, mental health is real. So whether or not these things have always happened or they're just happening now, he just spoke about gruesome crimes and gruesome acts of violence, like you setting a man on fire who's just lying on the street and they set him on fire. It's like what's going through your mind for that to happen? Like, how have we been manipulated and programmed as youths to think that that's acceptable? And like, again, it's not a new thing, but it's still here, right? You would think that as an advancement of civilization, those things would have disappeared or reduced at least, and it doesn't seem to necessarily be the case. So, you know what I mean? It does just feel like a divide and conquer thing, really. Do you know what I mean? People, like he said there, we're not, communities are being separated where the strong ones don't want to necessarily take care of the weak. It's like all about I. What can I get for myself, or what can I get out of it? Do you know what I mean? So like, we're not. What do they say? The old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child, and I think that narrative has been lost, especially in certain cultures and communities. Do you know what I mean? Whereas that was a big staple of growing up in a Jamaican family like I did. Do you know what I mean? It took a village to raise a child. That sentiment was always one that was very clear to me, and it feels like that's kind of disappeared a little bit. So yeah, man, mental health, it's a big thing, and I'm glad Bounty Killer is talking about it, and I'm glad, it's good to see him. You know, obviously recently he's had this kind of clash with Mr. Vegas, and it kind of drew a lot of negative energy, which is why we stopped covering it on the channel. But to see him speak like this and kind of talk positivity once again, you know, because he's been largely responsible for bringing artists together and bringing communities together. And so I'm glad to see that he's back on that vibe. And talking about mental health, someone in his position, it's a wicked thing, man. It's great to see him talking and bringing light to these type of topics, man. And just as men, we need to talk about this type of stuff, and we need to look at our youngers and see like what is going on. Like, why do they feel a sense of, you know, where is this anger and aggression and violence coming from? It's inherently a lack of self-belief. Do you know what I mean? The less you value yourself, the less you'll value your brother and others out in your communities. So it starts from within, and it does start with the mental health. So yeah, people, like I said at the top of the video, I saw some statistics that kind of go along with what Bounty Killer is saying about mental health, right? And so there was a study, albeit this took place a few years ago, this took place a decade ago, right? But the studies about the prevalence and correlation of personality disorder in the Jamaican population. So by personality disorder, they're kind of referring to what we typically call a mental health issue, right? And the stats that they came up with were kind of alarming. Let me just read the results to you. So this is the bit I'm interested in, right? So this study, which basically asked a sample of 1,506 Jamaicans with a male to female split and across an age range of 18 to 64, it asked them a questionnaire about, you know, almost like a psychometric questionnaire where it's a closed answers. So you either answer yes or no to the questions, and the output of that determines whether or not you're seen as having a personality disorder or not, right? And the results are, it says here, 41.4% scored above the scale's cut point, which indicates a diagnosis of personality disorder. So, and it goes on to say, persons with personality disorder were significantly more likely to be single, 63%, male, 60%, and between the ages of 18 to 44 years old, 77%. So when we look at that, yeah, basically what this study is saying is that of, let's just say, males between the ages of 18 to 44 years old. So we can kind of see that's a clean sweep of adult males, yeah, before you kind of get into more senior years. 77% of them are displaying as having a personality disorder, i.e. some sort of mental health issue. And this study was, look, we can see here when it says conclusion. This study was conducted to look at the significant implications in the light of the country's high rate of crime and violence. So they were actually looking to see why there's a high rate of crime and violence, right? And they're saying 77% of young men basically have some sort of personality disorder. And so I said, that number just seems crazy to me. That's almost everyone. That's like 80%, 8 in every 10 men. So I can't rock with these statistics, to be honest with you. And the reason being, yeah, there will be cultural differences between different communities where I feel like this study is bound to be heavily biased, because I can't believe that, you know, there's such a huge discrepancy between personality or mental health disorders in Jamaica versus the UK or versus the US. So yeah, people, that's about it. But listen, big up Bounty Killer for drawing attention to the subject. Long may that continue. And just in general, as men, you know what I mean? Like, chat to your brethrens. If you're feeling any kind of way about anything, chat to your brethrens. And one of the main pieces of advice I would give to other young men, and that I would give to my younger self as well, is that, you know what? It's okay to take an L. I think we as men especially get hung up on always coming home with a W. It's life ain't about W's. If you put that much pressure on yourself where every time you interact with another human being, you got to get the upper hand, or you can't just take an L and keep it moving, life is going to be very tough for you. And I think that's where a lot of violence and aggression and kind of negative things that lead to bad outcomes stem from. The fact that just take it L, it's cool. Like, everyone takes an L. Do you know what I mean? And like, just own that, be cool with that, be comfortable with that, have a laugh about it if you have to. Do you know what I mean? But talk to your brethren, talk to your people, and do you know what I mean? Let's just try and do better as a people, man. Anyway, Live 25, thank you for watching. We're out until the next one.